Hello beautiful star seeds, it's Alexander Quinn here. We've got a lot of very positive, beautiful things to talk about today. Have you ever been on a plane when you're going somewhere and your journey on the plane you hit a little bit of turbulence? Well, you always get to your destination in the end, and that's where we are. We're on the turbulent stage, but the destination's coming. A lot of good things are on their way. There's a lot of positivity in this video today, and a lot of you are feeling very lost. You don't need to be. Good times are coming. We're going to be talking about the grand solar flash today, what it's all about, when it's coming, the effect it's going to have on all of us, what it's all about. I'll give you as much information as I can. Alexander Quinn, Starseed Navigating the Light. Off we go. So before we get started, I just want to have a quick timeline recap on the build up to the grand solar flash in 2020 and why a lot of people felt slightly conned in 2012 when they didn't quite get the spiritual result that they wanted, and what that's all about. So let's just quickly go back to 1987, the harmonic convergence, the magnetics of the earth are changing. It's putting the blueprint down for the potentiality that we do cross the marker. The Cold War ends, the threat of nuclear war comes down, and it doesn't look like we're going to blow ourselves up. Then we start getting to the year kind of 2000. I think it was in 1999 the Matrix movie came out. The idea came out that there's a Matrix and we're stuck in it and we need to get out. Then in the early 2000s there was another mass awakening then, and lots of people started coming online. Then we had 2012. Now 2012 was basically going from 3D into 4D. It was when the recalibration years began, because if you had a solar flash right now, a lot of people's etheric bodies and physical bodies, which are now more crystalline but were more carbon based, would probably just not be able to handle it, and there'll be a lot of deaths on the planet energetically. When 2012 came along, we basically started the process. 2013 was a recalibration year. So ascension basically began in 2014, which means we are effectively multidimensionally 7 years old. So we're early in the process, but we had to go through a lot of energetic changes in order to get there. And we've been doing that. We've been going through ascension symptoms. We've been feeling it physically. We've been feeling it mentally. Our light bodies are taking on more energy. Have you noticed people are losing weight? They're not needing to eat as much. People are not rushing for beef. They'd rather go for, a vegetable sandwich or something like that. People's bodies are changing. So there's been a build-up in order to get us to the grand solar flash. And that is where we're at now. So 2012 was the beginning, and 2020 is the culmination of a lot of things. If you notice the way the energies are basically supported at the moment, you've got 5D edging up and up and up and up, and you've got 3D trying to push up, fighting, and there's loads of turbulence, like I was saying on the aeroplane, but we're about to get to the destination, and a lot of people are feeling a lot of turbulence at the end of this year, and the plane is going to land. So the grand solar flash is going to be like a champagne cork popping off. And when I said, so from 2012, that was going into 4D, 2020 we were going into 5D. That's when officially there will no longer be a 3D matrix. It will be gone. So if you're still putting 3D constructs and superimposing that into your life, is because you are doing it. The crystalline grid is not doing it, and reality is not doing it. So first off, how do we know about the grand solar flash? Well, we've heard Ashtar Command talk about it, we've heard the Syrians, we've heard the Arcturians. There's a lot of channel messages going on about it. A lot of spiritual people are talking about it. So we've got stuff coming from the earth plane, and we've got stuff coming from the other side of the veil, angelic messages as well. So it's coming thick and fast from everywhere. So that's how we know about it. The next thing, when is it going to be? Okay, well, it's looking likely that it's going to be on December the 21st, 2020 of this year. So we're not far away. We're just over a month away. I'm going to go into why that's looking more likely than it is looking unlikely, but we'll come to that. But effectively, we're going from 4D to 5D. We're going from Pisces to Aquarius. We are concluding and rounding off and finalizing a great celestial cycle forever. It's coming to an end. The golden age of truth and peace and abundance is now here. And any dark forces and constructs and suppressive mindsets or matrices that have been present will be finally concluded and taken away. So we are really stepping the marker, and it's going to be the 2012 that a lot of people wanted. Let's have a quick look at a little bit of astrology. So it's going to happen on the winter solstice. That's a very telling time when a lot of changes and things happen. A lot of energies on the planet shifting. The next thing, as early on in 2020, earlier on in the year, we had a Pluto-Jupiter conjunction. There's a lot of stargates and portals opening up, energies becoming present, ramping up, setting the stage. We are now going into a 400-year event where we have a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, and it'll be the closest and one of the biggest ones we've had in 400 years. There is also the 1111 portal, which is springing into life. So all of the ducks are lining up so perfectly for this event to happen. So with all of these things happening in the celestial skies, you're going to be going into the age of Aquarius, which is the sign of social change, humanitarian efforts, justice for all. You're going to see massive power struggles happening more and more and more. And the grand solar flash is just going to crystallize this. Now, what I'm seeing more and more and more are two camps, but there is commonality in the story. So what I am seeing is a lot of spiritual people, a lot of starseeds saying, hey, these photonic plasma gamma rays going from 40 to 100 hertz pushing us into 5D come from the great central sun. And the two parties that I'm seeing are some people saying that the Pleiadians are going to basically initiate this, coming from Alcyon, and I'm also seeing another party of people talking about Sagittarius being the center of the galaxy and the gamma rays coming from there, and it's got something to do with the black hole that is producing all of these things. Either way, there's going to be a mass gamma photonic wave hitting us like a sneeze, and that is also acting on our sun like a supercapacitor, and that also changes the way the sun moves and the way the sun works. Have you noticed how the sun is more whiter and brighter than it used to be, and when you were younger it was more yellowish? So it's changing the way our sun works, and in history throughout our evolution, every single time the sun changes, our consciousness changes. So there's going to be this mass wave coming out the center of the galaxy, and that could also cause a solar flare. A lot of the banks are talking about it, and they're talking about 2 trillion worth of damage and all the rest of it. Don't worry about that. This is all good. There's nothing to fear. I'm going to come on to that later. Now, for those of you who are more instrumental in the Pleiadians triggering this and the wave coming from Alcyon, there is a channeled message in the drop box below in the description. So how is this going to affect us going forward? Well, 0-point energy field and free energy technologies are going to come out. We're going to be looking at anti-gravity crafts, things that work floating by themselves using the Earth's gravitational field. When we start going into more magnetics and gravity, you can start to bend and shift time. That means we can start to move objects around in different ways. We're going to start thinking and scientifically using our abilities in completely new ways that have never been seen before. We're going to really, if you thought the last 100 years were absolutely incredible. I mean, it was only so many years ago that the Wright brothers were flying for the first time, and then in 1966 we've got the Blackbird plane, the SR-19 or whatever it's called. I mean, in such a short jump, 68 years or whatever it was, we suddenly get to that technology and the birth of the internet. So if you thought the last 100 years were pretty technologically and scientifically incredible, just watch this space, because it's going to be mind-boggling. Okay, so let's talk about timelines. The universe is going to be calling on you much more to serve out your highest timeline. Have you ever been somewhere in a relationship or a job or a place where the universe just clicked its fingers and went, no, and you were taken out of a situation or removed from it, almost out of your control? Well, that's going to happen more if you're not on the right timeline that is not serving you at the highest. You're going to really start seeing that a lot more now, because synchronicities and the foundation of everything, that the hertz that we're going in, the human frequencies, everything now is going to be really geared up for you to be serving your highest timelines, and it's going to take half the amount of time to start manifesting it now. And the effect that that's going to have on our psyche is that it's going to be more painful going forward to be doing the wrong thing with our lives. So in the old 3D matrix, we would do a job that was very repetitive. You'd go there every day, you do it over and over and over, and the day was long and it was repetitive. The new psyche and the new energy will be much more about free flowing, doing what you really love doing, even if it's backtracking for a little bit. It'll be harder, much harder in 2021 and going forward to do something you're not in love with, because the energies will be ramping up against you and you'll be fighting them. And with timelines increasing, what is also going to happen is your higher self, your oversoul, the other part of your soul, which is on the veil, which stays there, is going to be much more connected and coming down into the body after the flash, because there's going to be a lot more light integration in you, but also in the crystalline grid. And energies that were not able to get into our solar system and into Gaia herself are going to be ripped away. So everything is going to be able to come in. All the light and the gamma and all the energies and everything is synchronized. It's going to really, really ramp up. So just have a look at this picture. It's really going to be a time of listening to our hearts and not following our heads. So follow your heart and follow your passions. What you're also going to be seeing is a lot of spiritual blocks are really going to be ripped off this time. You're going to be having a lot of past life things coming to the surface. Healing is really going to come up. It's a time of great healing now. So a lot of blocks are going to be taken away big time that were there. A lot of things holding you back won't be holding you back anymore. It's seriously positive news. So that's also going to push you back onto your highest timeline. Your perceptual looking at things is going to change. You'll be able to see more orbs, flashes of light. You'll be able to see deeper into the light spectrum and hear more as well. Your perception is going to go up and it's going to change. It's like going to be coming out of the chrysalis. It's going to be like going from like a caterpillar into a butterfly. You're going to find your intuition has been stronger than it has ever been before. In the old 3D matrix, it was blocked by so many things unless you were really on your game, where it's going to be easier than ever to listen to your intuition. In the old 3D matrix, often the universe was saying, turn right, but then you'd go left, and a lot of souls were getting lost. Whereas in these energies after the solar flash, is going to be a pulse that's going to remind your body and your mind and your soul, oversoul, forever, that when the universe is saying turn right, you will know that it's time to turn right, and you'll actually do it. So it'll be easier than ever to go on the right path. So when you're on the wrong path after solar flash, it's going to feel harder, and the day is going to feel longer than ever before. Now, a lot of souls have been leaving Gaia in the past 2 years or so. It's because a lot of people are not or can't integrate the overwhelming gamma and light, etheric light that is entering their body. I don't know whether you noticed, but almost everyone has lost someone this year more than ever. And going forward into the end of this year and going into the flash, you really need to be taking extra care of your body. You're going to be needing a lot of vegetables, a lot of water, and if you need to sleep, sleep. If you need to take a rest, take a rest. If you're not used to doing that, if you're a go jet setter and you think you can survive on 2 hours of sleep, it's not going to work for you anymore, because your body's going to be saying, I'm in pain here and I'm taking a lot of energy. I'm going to need a break. I'm going to force you to take a break. So go into the end of this year on the 21st of December feeling clean and detoxify, and you will go into it sailing. You know, the name of this channel is Alexander Quinn, Starseed Navigating the Light. Well, as of late, all I've been saying is shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, because going into 5D, any trauma or baggage you've got, and hey, I've still got things I'm working through too, it's just going to be thrown in your face. It's not going to be able to be hidden anymore. Bit like the truth is going to be coming out. Your traumas are going to be coming out. It's going to be harder to lie. You're going to see it everywhere. So everything is going to be exposed. And a message to a lot of starseeds and light workers that I really want to give you before it's too late is shadow work is very, very good. You need to work through all your traumas and accept where we're going, because if you take a fluorescent light and you go into not even a dark room, but you go into a room that with the lights turned on, and you look at the kitchen surface, maybe you don't see anything. But when you put the fluorescent light onto the kitchen surface and you expose more light, all the dirt and the grime suddenly appears, and that is what's happening now. And you're going to see a lot of dark stuff coming to the surface for healing globally. You're going to see terrible tales of adrenochrome and all this stuff, and satanic stuff that's happened, and child abuse and pedophilia. It's going to come out more and more and more. And now starseeds who are at the beginning of their journey, who are a lot about love and light, I was there in the early days, you're going to find it very difficult. So you need to do shadow work and get ready for all the stuff that's going to be coming to the surface, because some of it's going to seem very dark and ugly, but you're going to be fine and it's all going to go away. But it has to come up to get out. Now, I've made some notes about some suggestions to do around the time towards the end of this year. I'm actually just going to read it off, so if my eyes come away from you, bear with me for a sec, so I'm just reading it. It's just easier to read it. And then I've jotted down some symptoms that you might actually feel when it actually happens. So these are some suggestions that came through to me. First of all, what I keep hearing is trust the divine plan. Trust when there's a mini stall in your life or something doesn't happen for a short period. It's meant to go that way. Things will get back on track. So trust the divine plan. Everything is happening in divine accordance with grace, the way that it's meant to happen. Another one that came through to me is, if necessary, on the 21st of December 2020 this year, or around this time, if the energies are getting too hard for you, or especially on that day, and what I was seeing is, be alone. Go be alone and be peaceful, so there's no noise from the modern world or people coming in. You might find it easier to integrate in energies if you're just by yourself. It might be harder if you're surrounded by a whole load of noisy people. Another one is, around that time or on that day, meditate. Meditate for 5 minutes if that's all you can do. The best thing would be for an hour, because you're going to integrate more of your oversoul. You're going to raise your vibration into a higher frequency, and when you go up into a higher frequency, it's easier to take that energy in. Another one, don't resist it. Just breathe it in and let it wash over you. Just breathe it in. Don't resist it. If you resist it, it'll be harder. Okay. Next one. Especially do not be around negative energies or negative people, especially around the time of December and especially around the flash, and I will tell you why. Around this time, as I say, the 3D matrix will disappear completely. So anyone that is locked in 3D, their fear and their anxiety will just go up, and it'll really exaggerate fear and anxiety in 3D. If you are in a good place and you're on the 5D timeline, it will really exaggerate that. So it's going to split things apart and then exaggerate it. Prepare yourself. Make sure you're in good mind. If you have to just go away to a little log cabin in the middle of nowhere, or a garden shed for a few hours around this time, or the days around this time, just go and do it. Be peaceful, be in a good place. Those are the suggestions. Let's have a look at the symptoms that could happen. Now, the next ones are ones that came through to me. I'm just going to read them off, if it's okay, off my notes here, just because it's easier, so I can't always remember everything. These symptoms are going to be specifically for light workers, starseeds, spiritual people who are much more in tune with their bodies, because as the event unfolds, they might feel it right in the moment. So this is more for you. Symptoms. You could temporarily feel like you're having an out-of-body experience. Just relax, stay grounded. You're going to be absolutely fine. This is all in the divine plan. This needs to happen. And if you're still here on this earth, you are one of the chosen ones. You're meant to be here right now. You're part of this ascension. You came here, and if you're still here, it's because you need to be here, and you're going to be here going forward. Okay. Next one. You might be having a very heightened state of awareness. Your senses could peak or spike. Just enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Next one. You might see a lot of flashes, lights, orbs. You might feel like you're going a little bit crazy. I'm hearing that there might be a lot of presence in the atmosphere, ships, craft, orbs. We might be seeing a very high propensity of ETs in the sky around this time, or towards the end of Christmas. I personally think that's so cool. I love all that kind of stuff. So that could be a real interesting thing to look out to. Technologies your phone, the radio, the TV, your electrical induction hob might go a bit weird. Don't worry about it. It's all part and parcel of what's to happen. It'll calm down. The governments and NASA will tell you that everything's going to fall apart and everyone's going to die and it's the end of the world. Just ignore that shit. You might feel depending on where you sit energetically and dimensionally, if you are in a bad negative place, stuff is really going to slow down and it's going to be a drag. Your day is going to feel much, much longer and minutes are going to turn into hours. If you're in a good place, time is really going to ramp up and it's going to speed up a lot, and you're going to race through Christmas and you're going to feel great. So another thing that I'm hearing is that there might be people who might get a bit of a jolt around this time, or specifically on that day, and they might get a sense that they need to lie down. Do it. If you need to suddenly get a feeling around this time or on that day, like you need to lie down. Oh God, I'm getting a bit of an energy overload here. Go for it. Go lie down take a little nap. Now, the last thing I want to cover is that this is an overwhelmingly good thing that is coming. It's going to be fantastic. Look forward to it. Do not fear it. For one, I can't wait. I want it to happen right now. It didn't happen in 2012 because our bodies were not ready for this rush of energy. And if it were to happen now, think about some of the most extreme ascension symptoms mentally and physically that you had, times that by 10. Your brain and your body just would not be ready for it. Now, Corey Goode talked about a lot of interesting things. He was saying that on the deep state, dark level, above presidential kind of level, there are tunnel systems and things that have been built all around the globe. And there are basically societies above presidential level that basically said to every country, we're going to take a little bit of your GDP and we're going to build tunnel systems so that when this thing comes, we're not all blown off the face of the planet. I think it's quite possible. I do listen to a lot of the Corey Goode stuff. Don't worry about that. There will be deep state CIA people who think this is evil, and they will be in underground tunnels, and I've heard that has happened. There are banks out there, you can see them talking about it. They're talking about a 2 trillion, and NASA talking about there being 2 trillions worth of damage and satellites being knocked out and all that kind of stuff. Again, it's just more fear propaganda. We get fear on the news every day. I would just ignore it. Don't even worry about it. Any fear stuff you hear, just ignore it. They want to make you scared. They want to put you into fear around this time so that you stay on a negative 3D timeline. You're a sovereign being now. You're the boss. You don't need the government and the media telling you and being your leader and being your hero and being your champion. You're the champion now. You're the leader. You're going to be guiding yourself into this. And the media is going to be me and you. It's going to be YouTubers. It's going to be people speaking their truth. And you're going to see more and more people coming to me and other people like me. And you. Start up a YouTube channel. Go and speak your truth too. Now's a great time. We're coming into such a beautiful time. So don't get caught up on all the shit that is going on right now. All the negative 3D timelines. If you look at my last video, it said they're going to try and put us on negative 3D timelines. And that was before all the lockdown and all the presidential campaigns and all this stuff started, and people said I was preaching fear, and then they all went into fear and anxiety. It's a temporary measure. Remember what I said, Starseeds. I will leave you with final analogy. When you get on a plane to go somewhere beautiful, a beautiful destination of your choosing, you get on the plane and there's some excitement. And then your excitement's a little bit dashed when the plane starts. You're getting a little bit of turbulence, and you got your vodka and tonic, or your, if you don't drink, your orange juice, and you're bouncing up around. Oh God, I feel a bit unsettled. That's not very nice, is it? And then the plane lands, and you come into sunny Florida, or the Bahamas, or Spain, or Costa Rica, or wherever it is you like to go. If you're a bit weird, maybe the Antarctic, if you can get a scientific flight that actually goes there. But we're all going to land at our destination. Trust the divine plan. I know I am. I know a lot of you are. I know you are. I love you. And things are looking really beautiful going forward. God bless.